Good. What's good? What's that? We are. I am. We. Look at we. It's just me. Um, Reacted to the hate for Pokimane because I've been following this stuff because I'm a no life loser or something like that. But I'm already three
A
minutes
little
in.
different. I don't know how to explain it. It was just a little different.
This is just how streaming is nowadays. But what if, stay with me now, if there was a streamer that's been streaming for well over a decade, they've been very successful in their streaming career, they're actually known throughout the streaming space, but they've also had their fair share of controversies, they've said things that sometimes don't make sense or contradict what they've previously stated.
And we hate the rich. Anyways, too much. Aren't you the rich?
She has been rich for some time. Pokimane's been big since like 2018, 2019, right? Yeah. She's been rich for like forever. For like ever.
No! Like the ultra rich, the ultra giga rich.
And you cannot tell if what they say and do they mean, or it's just really successful rage bait. But either way, it's produced a similar effect regardless, where people regularly express their somewhat disdain for them. People will clip anything said that can be deemed even remotely controversial to profit on the hate for them. And another thing which is common on the internet right now, which is if they happen to be even remotely close to the supposed ancient age of 30, they will be constantly reminded of that fact, and by that time they should have had a significant other, kids, and weirdly enough that their eggs are close to expiring. Yeah, they're hated that much. Maybe the internet was a mistake. But that streamer and content creator I vaguely described is Pokimane. Someone that a few
Okay.
years ago actually had an overwhelmingly positive reputation, but in the current year it's drastically changed to the point where it appears there's more hate for her than anything else, and day by day it only gets worse. But before we get into why she's hated, the controversies that may have brought about said hate, and if she deserves the hate, we first need to know who Pokimane is.
Okay. So I wonder if he's gonna bring up one a cookie thing, the thing with Gideon, because that was crazy. Um, what else? I mean, it's not like she does much. She just that's really more the issue is that she don't do much. Like she played games, but as far as I knew, she was never like good at them, and she was cute with makeup. Not to say that she's ugly without makeup. It's just, she's not my type.
There's a reason it's called compulsive masturbator. It's not like something.
Okay, listen, bro. You have a legitimate issue. Go see a doctor, like a dude with a legit PhD. That ain't me.
So Pokimane, or Amin Anis, was born on the 14th of May 1996 in the country of Morocco. Now, not a lot is known about her earlier life except she would move from Morocco to Quebec, Canada at the age of 4, which I imagine must have been terrible with the average resident of Quebec not only speaking French,
French.
but also speaking barely translatable English. You're probably better off trying to communicate with the inhabitants of the North Sentinel Island, who have been isolated from other humans and the world for at least 30,000 years, than trying to communicate with any Quebecian that claims they speak English.
No, yeah. I've heard that bag. I've seen some of these documentaries. I ain't believe none of that. Hey, the game government ain't no getting no one in the best sample. No, give them that 3D.
I have no idea what.
Why does he sound like Boomhauer? I mean, it's probably a joke that's been said 1,000 times before, but he really does sound like Boomhauer. Like it's wild. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on XQC because I don't care enough to pay attention to him.
The fuck you're saying right now?
But slander to the side, Imaine would make her start on the internet in
But I
June
think
of
I'll do a deep dive in
2013 at around the
XQC
age of
next.
17, where she would create her account on the Twitch platform and begin streaming under the guise of wanting to find other people that also played games. As in her own words, she didn't know anybody or have anyone to play with in her entire city. She began streaming the same time she created the account, going under the name Pokimane, which apparently was a name produced by mixing her name with the name of the Pokemon franchise. I am surprised Nintendo hasn't sued her yet with their track record. At the start of her
Yeah, because they got that other girl, right? The Poke whatever girl that had the yellow Lamborghini or whatever, and was like making buku money, but then stopped making money and couldn't afford her payments or something like that, and then like had like a child custody thing. That was crazy. Yeah, yeah. But she got sued by Nintendo, I think, and had to change her name.
streaming career, she would mainly stream League of Legends whilst also still being in high school, and around this time is when one of her infamous moments would occur that is still brought up to this day, which was her ripping the N-word whilst playing League of Legends because a person in her chat said her stream was boring.
Oh my god, well, like, I'm not a girl, so I can't get as many viewers as. Nick, you ain't funny. That's not true. Maybe you're just boring as fuck and lame as hell. Cause only lame niggas say that shit. Sorry, getting mad.
This would be a clip that would forever haunt Pokimane in the future, mainly used whenever she spoke out about racism.
Ever racist. I have no prior history of any racist behavior.
Nick!
But years later, she would give an excuse for this, saying she was still young, she didn't mean it in a derogatory way, and it was a different time back then.
Not an
To
excuse.
speak on the last point, she wasn't really wrong. Take one step into a MW2 lobby around that time, and you'd probably be educated.
No excuse
on
for
a
that
swear
either.
For almost every
Great time to
ethnicity.
be alive, but no
despite
excuse
her
for that
reasoning,
either.
It is still brought up to this day, even
That's
if
why.
it is now
That's why
over
we in the
2
state we in,
decades
big
old.
dogs.
But back to the start of her career, she would only really stream League of Legends, something she continued to do for the next few years, even when she had graduated from high school and began studying chemical engineering at McMaster University in Ontario. Poki would always find some time to stream from her dorm room whilst attending classes, sometimes back to back and enduring 9 to 12 hour days, apparently just so she could get some spare time to maintain her streaming schedule, which resulted in her building her audience and platform to the point where in 2015 she was making enough money to pay for things like her school by herself. And she was also getting recognized by Twitch, getting her own area for fan meetups at TwitchCon. Around this time, people were not only watching her for the League content, but also for Pokimane. The personality behind the gameplay, from the way she would interact with people in her chat to her segments like Dr. Perky, where she would speak directly to people in her chat and try to solve their problems, which resulted in some weird interactions like this.
So my second issue is I'm a compulsive masturbator, right? I masturbate fucking like 10 times a day. You know what I mean? I don't know how to stop. I don't know what to do. Uh, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you had this issue. You know what I mean? Like, I'm asking advice.
Can't say I've ever had that issue, but
Okay.
So niggas have just been weird online forever. And like, what? What compelled you? Batman couldn't get that information out of me. He couldn't. Nobody could get that information out of me if that was what was going on. Like, nobody. 10 times? No.
Let's
Get
not
outta
kid
here.
ourselves, at least one person watching that stream was choking the chicken. That interaction was the only evidence I needed. And the only evidence I need that you're going to develop your next heroin-like addiction is with the sponsor of today's video, War Thunder. Something you've definitely heard about.
Yeah, big dog. I pay for
combat
premium. I'm not watching this.
500 vehicles, both
Smooth jump ahead.
sponsoring this video.
Shout out to
Going
everybody
back to
contributing to
Pokimane,
jump
she was
ahead.
gathering momentum
I be
to the
needing that.
point where it looks like this streaming thing could work out, and she was also making a decent chunk of change doing it. But she was still a student. In fact, she had just finished her second year of her chemical engineering degree, and she only had one more year left, where after she could freely explore her options from there. But feeling as though this opportunity wouldn't last much longer, she would decide to put her degree on hold and take a gap year to try out streaming full time. Something her parents didn't exactly agree with, but after seeing her revenue and reassuring them if things didn't work out she would only be missing a year of school, they were somewhat fine with it.
Through my last year, and I streamed part-time, and then I said, fuck this shit, I'm out 2 years into my chemical engineering degree.
Damn, what did your parents say?
Well, honestly, I kind of, I was like, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I did a PowerPoint. I was like, look at my income. It's like, doing this. Look at my college debt. It's doing this.
Damn.
And the result of this was that she would never be returning to school or finish her degree because her streaming career would start to skyrocket at the start of 2017. She would now be averaging over 3,000 concurrent viewers, a figure that would only continue to grow in tandem with the launch of games like Fortnite's Battle Royale. Poki began streaming Fortnite at its peak alongside League of Legends, which would result in her viewership exploding, and she would receive over 450,000 followers just that year. Around this time, she would also get the opportunity to become one of the
Was she good at Fortnite? I was never good at Fortnite. Never ever. Never ever was I good at Fortnite. I couldn't. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I can't lie to you. I was never good at it. Never ever. I won one game and then I deleted the game by doing that weird that you remember when they had the, I don't know if they still got them, but they had the little diamond houses. The little diamond houses, they had them, and with the diamond houses, I just put a bunch of them down and hid under one until I was the last one left, and then when Buddy ran up on me, blew him down. That was it. The end. And I was like, okay, cool. Got my one victory royale. I could tell everybody I won at least one, and then I hung the shit up. And then I got really into Apex for like 4 or 5 years, and then EA sucked the money out of me, and I was like, not doing that anymore.
Founding members of a content creation group called Offline TV, alongside other large streamers like Lily Pichu, Skara, and Pokelols. Although a lot of the founding members would eventually leave, resulting in Lily Pichu and Skara being the only surviving founding members. Pokimane would move to LA following the decision to join Offline TV, and around the beginning of 2018 she would win the Shorty Award for Streamer of the Year. From the outside, things were going very well for Pokimane. She was now averaging over 10,000 viewers per stream, a number that would still only continue to grow, and she would also see success on other platforms like YouTube, eventually reaching over 1 million subscribers. However, towards the end of 2018 is where people would begin to question Pokimane's character, as since she was getting popular, she had started to somewhat refine her on-stream behavior and image as a whole compared to previous years, and people were beginning to wonder if she truly was this wholesome and kind person she had built her brand on, or was it all fake? A sentiment that would continue to grow as the years went on and as she surrounded herself in more and more controversies. But said sentiment or opinion wasn't widespread at this point. It would first take a number of smaller events before it got to that level. The first sign of criticism against Pokimane, as mentioned, would start in late 2018. And it was another thing which still follows her around to this day, even though from the outside it appeared like a fairly wholesome act.
Oh
And this
yeah, when
event
she
was
killed
her
Leafy.
going on stream without makeup, which I assume had the objective of showing women it's okay to feel comfortable in their own skin. But it just led to people taking a screenshot of a single frame and waving it around, with most saying she was catfishing her audience with how different.
Yeah. That was a rough look on her. That was just a bad day. She wasn't hydrated. That's what it was. She wasn't hydrated. She didn't put no lotion on. Yeah, she looked a little dry and light and pale. She need to go out in the sun for a little bit and then come back in. And y'all would have been like, all right, that's the Pokimane we know. But nope. She was on a pale day that day. That's all. The light wasn't good. Right? The light wasn't good.
She looked with
That's
or
all.
without makeup. She would respond to this basically saying she's comfortable in her own skin and provides more pictures from better angles without makeup. But still to this day, this image tends to pop up whenever Pokimane lands herself in
Play too
controversy, and this was one of the first times she would see such a large amount of hate, and it was one of the handful of times she would actually have a somewhat good response, which wouldn't just result in her getting even more hate. But then almost straight after that, at the beginning of 2019, we had the Pokimane copyright situation where people really started to question her character. So basically she had a public Twitter argument with everybody's favourite gnome, Keemstar.
Everybody type in the chat, Alex is a stupid...
This was over Keemstar saying how SS Sniper Wolf must Photoshop her pictures, and he proceeded to point and laugh at her fans that were defending her after he said this, and Pokimane would get involved at this point defending the fans, which just resulted in a back and forth of both of them sending videos at each other over Twitter, with Keem calling her fake and Pokimane saying he's hateful. However, by the end of it, both would delete the responses and move on. But someone had archived the entire interaction and uploaded it to YouTube, which was actually the type of content they were known for, and this was Boblax, who I know just by mentioning their name in the current years like scraping a chalkboard, but this was before their whole controversy. But with Pokimane
Talk
seeing
about a
this
fall off.
archive of the entire interaction, she would
That's
then
right, I be
choose
paying
to
attention.
commit
I'm
one
out
of
there.
the cardinal sins of YouTube, which is abusing the copyright system and getting the video taken down. Which many at the time thought it was because it didn't show her in the best light and perhaps contradicted her on-stream image. Boblax would make a statement on this saying she had abused the copyright system. This of course gained a lot of traction and resulted in Pokimane getting a lot of shit. Even PewDiePie got involved, saying taking down a video covering your drama just causes a Streisand effect and leads to more people shitting on you.
Somewhat understand the motivation of trying to take down that video, but the problem here is that you're just drawing more attention to it. It's the Streisand effect every single time.
And around the same time, making this situation worse was another instance where she was basically threatening to take down another channel's videos that was taking clips of her stream because she thought they weren't transformative enough. But for context, these videos had somewhat wild thumbnails and titles, but at the time this clip did not help her case.
Edit videos and actually put effort into it and make it more entertaining for the viewer. Like, wow, I'm so sorry that it takes you a lot of time to steal other people's content. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, no.
And put it together. I'm so sorry that it takes... I'll be taking down some of your videos, but yeah, I just hope you stop doing this.
With that said, some people made the point that she's saying his videos are not transformative enough, but here she was reacting to other people's videos on her stream and not really providing much of an input.
Yeah, that eating food shit. Wow. Watching other people's content, which I'm not too far of a step above. I'm just letting y'all know this is bullshit. I'm gonna bullshit for a little bit till I get me some weight up under my feet. Then I'll really start stepping on niggas. But you know, I ain't got no boots on right now. I'm in flip flops, just trying to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Came off as
Hope y'all find me entertaining.
The criticism eventually reached a
Yeah.
point where she could not ignore it, and she would
Something like
respond to the drama 2 months later by 1, talking privately to Boblax, and 2, issuing an apology video which currently is no longer available. In the video, she basically said she took down Boblax's video because it was getting a lot of traction, and she just wanted the drama to be over with, and she was wrong in thinking that would work. And the apology was going well till she said she was well within her right to do so, and then saves herself by saying it was not morally okay to do it. Talk about a roller coaster of an apology.
So, Boblax strung together all the tweets and videos from Twitter and just re-uploaded it to YouTube with no editing or commentary or voiceover. That video was getting a lot of traction at the time, and just being completely honest with you guys, I kind of wanted to be over with all the petty drama. Although I was legally within my right to take down the video,
I find henna tattoos culturally appropriating, and I don't know why. And maybe I should get into that and like really explore why I think that is what that is. But I think that's culturally appropriating to an extent.
morally and as a content creator, it wasn't something that I should have done because, I mean, at the end of the day, those were tweets that me and Keem made publicly and videos that we made publicly.
But ultimately, the situation was...
Like, I get it, they temporary tattoos, and we really should be focusing on them that much. And it's not that big of a deal at all. But I find it culturally appropriating for some reason. Even though I think they're cute. I like them. I like a henna tattoo. I like it when a girl has a henna tattoo. I like to see them on the beach and stuff like that. Like, I think those are cute. But at the same time, why are you doing that?
over, she spoke to Burblax, she somewhat apologized, but this was one of her first major controversies and the first thing that made people somewhat cautious when trusting Pokimane, and it wouldn't be long till the next situation occurred and had almost the same effect. But now it was 2020 and Pokimane was doing very well. People had moved on from the previous drama and she was reaching new heights in her career, especially with the new Among Us phase and the newly announced Valorant. Remember that? That was 6 years ago now.
Jesus Christ.
2020 was 6 years ago. COVID really did backdoor our brains. Poki was now comfortably averaging over 20,000 viewers per stream, and sometimes she peaked at over 100,000 concurrent viewers. And this still wasn't even...
Why was Among Us ever interesting? Like, was it just that we were all bored, and so we were like, this shit gotta be fun. Let's watch these people socially argue with each other about shit that we obviously see. Like, we know what's real and what's not, and these people are fighting with each other. But like, I was never interested in the whole Among Us phase type of shit. Like, I probably played Among Us twice and was like, this shit ass, because it's only interesting to people who are like streaming the shit or got big personalities or really like arguing with other people, I guess. But this is lame, and Valorant was just never interested to me.
In her peak. Also around this time was when the term simp was being heavily used, which is a word used when describing someone that shows excessive devotion towards someone or something, and in the context of the internet they would mainly use this when describing the dedicated viewers of female streamers, because supposedly they were stereotypically a lot more diehard and would defend the streamer more than the average chatter of a male streamer.
I guess.
Of course, this
I don't know how I can shout her out. I'm not doing nothing bigger than her.
Pokimane watcher as a simp, which is something she would later
shout out them guys at Internet City.
Her audience.
Shout out Internet City for giving me motivation. They motivated me to really get this motherfucking work done and try to be a YouTuber. I'm trying. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but I'm gonna try. Turn this into some motherfucking money. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to boys at Internet City. I'm gonna react to some of their stuff tomorrow and see how that goes. Maybe they copyright me. Maybe they don't. Maybe we chill out and we get to laugh, and maybe at some point we get cool with some niggas, and then we really start making some moves. Collabs is where it's at, from what I hear.
But piggybacking off the rise of the word simp was a video by It's My OBS is over there. It heavily involved fans of Pokimane, including one fan that apparently donated their savings to Pokimane.
I'm kind of short on savings, but I'll definitely get 500 to drop this week, laughing my ass off. Hope she sees this and knows I love and miss her. XD.
This would result in Pokimane reacting to that video because it heavily featured criticism of her and her audience, and she wouldn't have the best response to it, saying some of these cases or simps aren't actually donating this much money, and she doesn't like that he is making fun of her audience.
I'm so sorry. It is insanely hard to take this person seriously that is like dressed up as a VR person, not showing their faces, which, you know what, that's his choice, but you're also falling for this very obvious bait? Oh no. Literally just...
It's a Gundam is the best VTuber ever on the planet. I'm just gonna say that one time for the one time. That nigga's doing God's work out here judging people. I'm not saying I agree with everything he say, but he judging people the long way.
Nice random people that are taking a photo of me, or a photo with me. That's not freaking cool, dude.
She overall just didn't like the video, but the problem was that she then goes on a rant which from the outside was perceived as
for the one time
her audience to dislike the video.
People like this, stop.
That's a like. I was giving that a
people
like.
Like me and
for the
my
one
community,
time.
give them feedback that this is not an okay thing to do. Not attack them, but I hit a little dislike and I say, this not cool. And if you think something is not okay and you want to see less of it, you also have to give feedback, because that's how YouTubers work.
In the outcome of this, It's a Gundam's video gets bombarded and he even loses a big sponsorship deal that he was working on.
I had a sponsorship kind of lined up with like a big video game company. Yeah, that kind of went. So I hope you're happy, folks.
This led to another wave of criticism for Pokey, and considering it was so soon after the previous controversy, people assumed either she had not learned her lesson or that she could not handle criticism properly, which resulted in even more people questioning her character at that point. But after getting a lot of backlash, she would apologize personally too. It's a good...
Yeah, because if I ever got a sponsor and I was making a criticism video on somebody, I don't know who I would do that on. Actually, I do know, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not big enough to talk shit about nobody yet. But if I was to lose a sponsor, let's say, I don't know, shit, even $500 would be crazy to lose. Any amount of money is crazy to lose a sponsorship over some fake ass internet beef that ultimately means nothing at the end of the day. Like, how dare you stump on my money? It's my money, not your money. It's mine. Mind your damn business.
And
Which
another apology video also addressing other claims at the time, and it was supposedly all water under the bridge after this.
I want to sincerely apologize to both It's a Gundam and to the sponsor of that video for the remarks and comments that I made.
Despite these setbacks, she was still doing very well. She still averaged thousands of viewers and even debuted as a VTuber for like 3 streams, and then went back to being a fleshy. She would see her overall peak in 2022, and around the same time she would eventually leave her place at offline TV to pursue other things. But she was at the top of her game. Most people on the internet knew her name, and the support she was receiving around this time was overwhelming. It took her 7 years and a gamble to reach this point, and it was a resounding success. That is a basic version of how Pokimane got to where she is today and some of the events along the way. But as she's grown, so has some of the resentment and distrust for her, because going past 2023, it's now reached a point where it's common to see hate for her, and it speaks louder than any good things being said about her. And it's probably due to a build-up of...
That's fair. Her responses, as of late, recently, have been a garbage. It's been garbage. It's garbage responses. A mix of being out of touch because you're sitting on this pedestal where you don't want to interact with the internet too often because everything you do needs to be a reaction. So you're out of touch with humans and on like almost a consistent basis. You're out of touch with humans. So to like deal with that on top of always having to have an opinion, I can see how that could be rough. But I mean, it's a very simple solution. Get in touch. Pay attention to the feed. Get out your bubble. Go outside with somebody that doesn't know you like that, or is not on the internet like that. So you don't have to have these wild internet-laden opinions or these wild Californian takes, if that makes sense.
Time with the controversy surrounding her as she grew, and key points like her cookie situation, because past that point is where the criticism for her really became mainstream. But what are said critiques surrounding her, and why is she...
Is that true? Is the cookies what made it mainstream? Because I thought it was kind of popular to hate on Pokimane before that. I know the cookies was not like a big... It was a big fuck up for her, because one of the cookies like extremely expensive and they were like trash. I don't know. I'd never buy cookies from a YouTuber. What the fuck? What am I doing buying cookies from a YouTuber? Oreos is doing it for me. Them Chips Ahoy, delicious.
So hated.
I'm like, oh my god, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags. $7 a bag. I know, math is hard. Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
So one of the main critiques Pokimane faces is that the so-called persona she shows on most of her streams, where she's usually this wholesome, kind and quiet person, is all fake, and this is just a mask she wears on stream to be perceived in a good light. But if we were being honest, a lot of streamers probably are putting on acts or are creating characters they will own.
Not me. I would never ever would I ever get in front of this camera and pretend to be somebody I'm not. That's a lie. If I get a ass sponsorship or something like that, I will 100% fake a smile for y'all. Gotta get to the bag. Don't believe nothing I say unless I say believe.
Show on stream. There are very few streamers you can confidently say aren't, and even then you don't know them personally,
Disgusting.
so you wouldn't know if they are. But
Why would you do that on camera?
People...
Why would he do that on camera? What is that? What? Nigga. Are you serious?
Stream. There are very few streamers you can
He just whipped that bitch out and was just like, I'm finna put that in my mouth. I'm finna put my toe in my mouth right here in front of all of y'all. Show y'all I know how to bite my toenails off because I ain't got a toenail clipper.
Confidently say aren't, and even then you don't know them personally, so you wouldn't know if they are. But more so with Pokimane, people didn't think that she was this nice person she constantly represented, and it was commonly stated it was all fake. Because there has been moments throughout her career these critics point to where this apparent mask slips, and in their eyes she shows her true character. Some of these moments I have already mentioned, like with the Boblax and It's a Gundam situation. In one she tried to silence drama, which just made it worse, and in the other she reacted poorly to a video criticising her and her fanbase. But there are more recent events people have pointed to, like what happened surrounding the XQC Kick contract, where XQC was offered a huge amount of money with the claimed figure being 100 million, in which most of it by now has probably been put into a slot machine knowing him, and this deal was so that he would stream on Kick. This wasn't even an exclusivity deal. He could stream on both Twitch and Kick as long as he hit his required amount of streamed hours on Kick. Now Kick is owned by Stake, a company mainly known for gambling, which around 2023 gambling in the streaming space was being heavily criticised, with the argument being that streaming gambling would encourage the streamer's audience to do it, and it could result in younger, more impressionable viewers getting addicted or losing a significant amount of money. This eventually led to Twitch at the time banning gambling, which also resulted in a lot of these gambling streamers moving to Twitch's competitor, Kick. Now with XQC being offered 100 million generational wealth, even his great-grandchildren will be able to buy at least 2 sticks.
That is where I draw the line though. I won't promote. I'm not promoting the gambling shit. That's crazy. Because gambling ruins lives, credit, everything. Like, why would I promote that? Like, that's dumb. It's a bad idea. I don't gamble myself, and I would never promote it to somebody else. Now, I don't know. Nah, I think they all scumbags. I was gonna say I don't know if they're all scumbags. I think they're all scumbags. Everybody who promotes gambling is a bit of a scumbag. Cause why would you do that to these impressionable young people? Like, I could only imagine being 19 or 20 and I get out on my own for the first time in forever, and now I'm trying to watch these grown like almost 30, 32-year-old men, and figure out what they doing to make their life work, and they're like, oh yeah, so just gamble all your money away, gamble it all away, gamble it all away. Yeah, I would never. I could no, cause fuck that. Why would you do that to these young people? Why would you think that that's okay? To be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna gamble all this money away, even though you know that your site has no good, what's it called, age restriction when it comes to stuff like that.
of DDR5 RAM, which will probably be the biggest flex in the future with how RAM prices are right now. But this was a lot of money with a requirement he was already happy doing. So a lot of other streamers would understand why he would take the deal, and a lot of people congratulated him on it. But Pokimane, someone that had previously been somewhat buddy-buddy with XQC, upon hearing about this would not congratulate him from what I saw, and instead would go on a rant about how Twitch could shut down Kick at any point, which was a claim that was wrong. That would be Amazon's web service, and I'm pretty sure that would violate their user agreement.
Kick makes Twitch money. Like, Kick is using Twitch's services. And if Twitch really wanted, they could just stop giving these services to Kick. But right now, they're just sitting back like, thanks, I guess.
And around the start of another stream, upon being asked if she would ever take a deal herself, she responds in a bit of a self-righteous way, saying she would never compromise her morals and it's cringe, and people would think she was referring to XQC and his big deal around this time.
No, and it's not because I got like $10 million. It's just because I'm good as I am. Why?
I would take a 10 mil deal, but not to promote gambling. Like, I'd have to talk to my significant other about that first. But I don't think I would promote gambling for 10 mil, because especially depending on my audience type, like, if this channel comes up and it turns out to be like all grown men, and y'all have heard my stance on gambling, and y'all know that I'm doing this for the bag, like, that would be like a conversation that goes down in like a Discord or something. Like, I'd be like, okay, look, they offered me a 10 mil deal. Don't come watch this if you feel compelled to gamble just because you see me do this shit with free money. But I'm not promoting this anyway, other than doing it to make this money. Like, I'm just going there to make money. Other than that, I don't care. Whatever the deal is, like, it's probably like, well, no, I do care because I'm not promoting drugs either. Maybe alcohol, maybe. I don't know. It depends, I guess. But a gambling deal, 10 mil, 100 mil for a gambling deal depends on a lot of circumstances. But I would never be like 100%. No, I'm never doing it. Because money talks, and money talks to me nice.
Would I compromise my morals and ethics for more money when I have money? Something about that is so cringe to me personally. Like, I understand, you know, if you need to make.
Also depends where I'm at financially, because I get what she's saying. She said it wrong for sure, but I get what she's saying. Because why? I'm already making 10 mil where I'm at. So why do I need to stoop down and make 10 more mil? So I don't get his righteous, more righteous, I'm riding the high horse take that this was a bad take. Unless she said something absolutely crazy after this, which I guess is the point of the pause thing. Now, I get it. I get it, guys. I get it, YouTubers. I get why you pause now. This makes sense.
Money? For me to do cringe shit when I have I can't. Like, ew.
Okay, calling it cringe shit is a little wild. But it's not cringe. I don't think it's cringe to take the money. Hey, if you need the money, or if you want the money, because money is money. Money will always be money. It just depends on what type of moral person you are. Like, I don't think I could do that just because of where I stand morally. Like, I can't talk as much shit as I do and then turn around and take a $10 million deal. But at the same time, if that deal was to land in my lap right now, I would take it 100%. Because fuck my morals, I want to live comfortably.
Would result in both of them getting into a call and presenting both of their points, which didn't solve anything.
Well, basically, Hassan, we're kind of done talking about me being a snake, so I think it's time we talk about you being a snake. Take it away, X.
Okay, well, I want.
But what made it worse, and one of the main points people used that she is fake, was when previously when streamers were congratulating XQC, one streamer who was associated with Pokimane, who did publicly congratulate XQC on his deal, for some reason Poki would send him a message and question why she would congratulate him.
I tweeted, congrats to XQC and Kick, because I think it's like a win-win situation for both parties. And she reached out and she was like, I was kind of surprised that you were publicly supporting it. And crypto gambling, it promotes gambling.
But to be fair, the streamer that claims this does actually add more context when this clip blew up, defending Pokimane. Eventually the drama would be over, but a lot of people question why she would insert herself into this situation and why she reacted the way she did, especially with someone that she had previously associated with, but this would be a situation referenced with.
I mean, wouldn't she? I'm not trying to like jump on the Pokimane bandwagon or nothing, because she is the queen of bad takes and the queen of not taking accountability for the shit that she say out of her mouth. But I mean, if that was your homeboy and he was doing something that you feel is morally unjust and corrupt, then like, why wouldn't you speak out against that? Like, especially coming from a place where you've been speaking out against whatever you want to speak out against for your whole career. So like, why wouldn't you be like, excuse me, that's crazy for you to take that deal because that's disgusting.
This criticism. Another case referred to, and one that was probably her biggest fumble, which I personally think played an integral role in where her reputation and public standing is to this day, and that was with the cookie situation, where she worked with a company to release a cookie that was claimed to be a healthy snack alternative called Miana. Now people noticed a lot of problems with the cookie. One, it almost had exactly the same values and looked almost like another brand, and two, it was very expensive just for one bag.
Buy from the store, how much would it cost?
$14. So it's $14 without shipping. Yeah, without shipping.
No.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's so bad.
For some puffs cookies, them crispy cookies, you can get them at the Dollar General. And I mean, I guess, no, $14 is crazy. Without shipping, $14 is insane. Cause with shipping, that'd be like, shoot, that's another $3, I guess, depending on who you're shipping with. That's $17. $20 a bag. $20 a bag, and that's back then. $20 a bag was high. $20 a bag is super duper high right now. Shoot, with the tariffs, that's $30 a bag.
And three, people said they tasted pretty bad. But with the first point on the launch, people would go to her chat and say, you know, these cookies are a bit overpriced, which led to a response which is another one of Pokimane's infamous clips, which once again still follows her around to this day.
Like, oh my god, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags. That's $7 a bag. I know math is hard when you're an idiot, but like, if you're a broke boy, just say so. Anyway.
Now this clip would blow up. Even Moist Critical made a video on it. She would later say this was a joke, but some would point to her previously having the same attitude days prior. Regardless if this was a joke, the internet had cast their judgment, and this on top of many other situations I've mentioned would be used as evidence toward.
I mean, it probably was a joke in the moment. Like, the broke boy just say so. Like, she did the little ee ha ha thing, but $28 is crazy. $7 a bag is still insane. Like, I wouldn't pay no more than $5 a bag. Because the cookies can't be that hard to make. I don't believe it. I could make healthy cookies in my house. I can make healthy cookies alone in my room by myself. I don't need your healthy cookies, lady. But if you want me to buy these healthy cookies, at least make them affordable. Especially because you want me to buy these healthy cookies and still sub and donate. But that's just out of touch. Out of touch.
To the point that Pokimane can't take criticism, and that there are moments where she reacts in a way that contradicts the image she's built up over the years, that leads to people coming to the conclusion that her personality is fabricated or unorganic. The next common critique about Pokimane is that she is performative, which is a word heavily being used in the current year, and for a content creator, being called performative probably has the same effect as being called a slur. But people think Pokimane often makes claims or says things because that is the current
Being
thing, and
performative
she
is
doesn't
fine,
actually fully
I
believe
feel.
in what she's saying, and a lot of times people claim it's just virtue signaling. A key example people recently use is when on stream she ranted about the rich and how she hates the rich, which some thought was a bit hypocritical since it's estimated she is very wealthy herself. And of course people would bring up her very expensive cookies, even using it to counter a previous point she made about capitalism. But in that moment she does clarify she's talking about the ultra rich, not rich people like her, which did not save her from any criticism. Overall, a rich person talking about how they hate the rich, even if it is the giga rich, can be viewed as more ironic than anything, and it did not have the desired effect.
The wage gap, I hate that shit.
No, wealth disparity.
Wealth disparity.
Wage gap is like between men and women. Men and women, we love each other.
Facts.
Wage gap is not just between men and women, by the way, and wealth disparity is also bad. But there's a wage gap between the rich and the poor too, and the rich and the middle class. The wage gap between a lot of these people is getting insane.
We hate the rich. Anyways.
Aren't you the rich?
No!
Yes,
Like the ultra rich.
you're the ultra rich.
The ultra giga rich.
You're damn near the ultra giga rich.
The unnecessarily rich.
You are unnecessarily rich.
People also point to how sometimes she will tweet about things like in this now deleted tweet, where she says how she missed when streaming was about gaming and not just drama baiting and clip farming, in which people would remind her she's been in a few dramas and initiated some when she didn't really need to. People also refer to this comment she made in an interview where she says streaming is too male dominated and there aren't any female streamers the same size as people like iShows.
Is that in 2025? That's crazy. That's crazy for her to say, because being a woman on Twitch was the meta, was it not? For like a hot minute, being a woman on Twitch was like the shiznit. Was it not? Like you could. There was hot tub streams, for crying out loud, like hot tub streams. There was the whole morgue pie thing where she was like damn near naked for like ever. That I don't know. That's crazy.
Speed, which people would admit is true, but point out there wasn't a lot of female streamers doing content like iShow Speed. And for some it felt like she was discrediting the progress females have made.
Yeah, not to be like a yeah, I hate women type shit, but like that was the like being a woman on Twitch, like Senna is a huge proportion of like you don't have to be you ain't gotta be the titty streamer. You ain't gotta have your joints out. As far as I can tell. I don't know. I've seen Senna be dressed up and I've also but seeing that Senna dresses like this and still like killing it out there is a huge deal. Cause that's fantastic. It's beautiful work out there. You know what I'm saying?
In the streaming space, especially in the last few years, a key example was with VTubers, which, ironically, is female dominated. This is apparently a claim she...
Now, VTubers, on the other hand, you gotta be careful, because on one hand, they are definitely out there doing it and being women and being fantastic at it. I'm never gonna knock a woman doing what she gotta do, but these are sexually charged models. Can I say that? Can I say that these are sexually charged? Yeah, these are sexually charged models, and they I feel like it kind of needs to be toned down a bit because it's a lot. It's a lot to look at.
Brings up a lot because this original story was made over a year ago, yet as recent as 2 months ago it was brought up again. I'm pretty sure people are just recycling it at this point, but Pokey does make statements like this a lot and they don't always land. Like her comment on believing all victims, yep, it was brought up that she was laughing at Amber Heard during her trial when she was supposedly the victim, and when called out on this, she would apologize. I think even recently there was another event where she was called a moody socialist billionaire by her chat, and she responds by banning them and saying if she was one, she wouldn't be one for long because she would give away all her money.
I think I'm a billionaire, you cookie bean. I'm so sorry. If I ever was a billionaire, I wouldn't be a billionaire for more than a day. I would give away most of my money.
And there are other examples people use to claim she's performative.
I'm an immigrant girl. We always feel like we gotta work. Work.
Pokimane immigrated to Canada from Morocco when she was 4 years old, which would be around the year 2000. Okay, so you didn't immigrate shit, your parents did. And besides you studying at a university, you've never had a normal job outside of content creation.
That's a bad take. That's a bad take. Immigrant children have to work hard because their parents are immigrants too. But she's also, she's an immigrant. She grew up for 4 years in Morocco. Nonetheless, how memory works and stuff like that. So she might not remember Morocco very well, which is fair, fine. You don't think she remembers it well. She only remembers Canada. Cool. But at the same time, her parents definitely remember Morocco and they immigrated for a reason and they are pushing her to work extremely hard. I don't knock it. Do I think that she's still performative? Of course. Nobody is this happy and cheery all day. Nobody's like this all day long. Nobody's doing that.
Final reason I found for why people hate Pokimane is simply just down to fatigue. Now, I have said in a previous video, Pokimane finds herself in a controversy or situation once every 3 months, whether it's down to something she says or does. And I think what I said still applies to this day. For some reason, recently she proposed to herself and made it a public thing, and the next thing was she started talking about her relationships and how she doesn't need a man, and then she starts doing content with a guy people insist is her boyfriend. And all of this is fine, it's her life, she can do whatever she wants and she can create whatever content she wants. But indirectly, it's led to fatigue where people are tired of seeing these arbitrary statements on Twitter or a stunt like her proposing to herself.
Yeah, that was bait. That's bait. I don't know if it's rage bait per se, but that's bait. That's, I don't know, what do they call it on Twitter? Engagement baiting? Engagement baiting. Baiting for engagement.
And these are the only things you really hear,
which is fine,
about Pokimane nowadays, and it's not all her fault, but people are tired of it. Some claim her openly doing these type of things is because she's going through a midlife crisis or attention seeking. My personal theory, leading to what I said at the start of the video, is that she has the self-awareness to know she's made it in life. She doesn't, from my knowledge, have to worry about important things like her finances, and she knows there's nothing she can do to change anyone's mind regarding her reputation. I mean, at this point, she's a lot less apologetic than she was in previous years, where around that time, if she saw a ton of backlash, she'd make a public statement or apologize, but she doesn't really do that anymore. I think she knows she's only one comment away from a 5'2" Venezuelan homeless Canadian man making a video on her so he can feed his 5 children. So she plays into it, and I think 2025 onwards, she is just rage baiting people at this point. And it works so very well, but I may be giving her too much credit. Pokimane right now is at the phase, I assume, where her online career is winding down. She doesn't stream as much as she used to, she doesn't stream to as many people as she used to, she's losing followers on Twitch, and there is a lot of hate out there for her. So I think at this point she's just having fun with it, but that's just my theory.
A game theory.
You want me to take out a gun and blow a fucking hole in your head right here? Right now? You want that?
So in conclusion,
go watch his for his conclusion, because this is my conclusion. Is Pokimane hated? Pokimane hated? Yeah, for sure. 100%. Is it unjust? A little bit. A little bit. She's just a girl in a girl's world, doing a girl world thing. And on Twitch, of all places. and being fed like this hypocrisy standpoint from all these people who are out of touch with the world and continuously just eating that shit up. So I I don't expect much from her in form of change or nuance, but it's just is what it is. Like Pokimane is who she is, and she gonna be who she be. Is it justified hate? A little bit though, because she do be saying some wild shit. But I appreciate y'all watching the video. If you watched all the way through, because this is now an hour-long video for some reason. I didn't even know I could do this for an hour. But I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate comments, likes, subscribes, or whatever.